Hi guys. I know I look like a right dickhead. But I do, yeah. Love you, hubby. This is my new attire. Don't I look hot? Yeah. I'm smiling, but it's been a rough week. I haven't smiled a lot this week. I've been in a hell of a lot of pain. Hell of a lot of pain. Just to update on my crazy life, because there's been quite a lot of things going on this week. I went for further drug testing, allergy testing. Because of my penicillin anaphylactic shock reaction. Excuse me, my neck hurts. Got too excited smiling. So I went for that, and I'm not allergic to any other penicillins, which is great news. Yay, something positive to start off with. I thought I'd give you the good news first. On last Sunday, I was admitted to A&E. I went in, my mum took me. I was having severe neck and head pain. How I would describe it is that I've got a lot of tension and pressure in the back of my head and then in my neck. I've got a lot of swelling, very obvious rheumatoid swelling in my neck here. Very stiff all over this area. And then I was getting every movement, or if I spoke, I was getting a shooting pain coming through my head here, from the back, through out, like as if it was like a gunshot blowing out my head. Literally, I really felt awful. I felt like something serious was really going on. I was really scared. Initially, they suspected meningitis because I was aversion to bright lights. I was being sick. Felt if you touch my neck at all at the moment, it's making me want to vomit, like projectile vomit. So they would start treating me for meningitis and isolated me and everything. But I knew it was the RA, really. Apparently 25 to 30% of RA patients have like spinal involvement, and it seems I do. About 6 months ago I was x-rayed, because I kept asking. I've been saying this for ages, that my neck was not right, my lower spine's not been right for a long time. But my neck was a big issue throughout the RA, as RA's disabled me. It's been there the whole time I've complained about my neck. I've asked for x-rays, I've asked for MRIs, and I've pretty much been parred off and just ignored. They did x-ray me, and about 6 months ago, and they saw osteoclasts, which is bone spurs, on my C5 and C6, which is my lower cervical spine, and L4 and L5, which is my lumbar spine. And also was noted some spondylolisthesis, which means slippage of the vertebrae. But then I was told after that x-ray, it's nothing to worry about, don't worry about it, just carry on as normal. That was it. No further investigations, nothing. Even though I was still suffering in a lot of pain, they've given me a hell of a lot of pain relieving drugs to try and get on top of these spasms. The spasms themselves should have been foreboding warnings of what was going on with my neck, but nobody listened to me. Surprise, surprise. So, come Monday morning, I'm in hospital, and they say basically it's the RA is causing some damage in your spine, in your neck. Pretty much they x-rayed me again in standing position again, which they'd already x-rayed me in standing position, which I'm now aware standing position is no good at all for this sort of condition. You need to have your head in the supine or flexion, or both positions, to really tell what damage is going on and what is causing this pain. Now, I was upset. I was very emotional because it was sort of like, go home and deal with this. It's part of the RA. And again, go home and just deal with this. You know, I deal with so much that's just a part of the RA every single day that I'm sorry, but this is not something to just be sort of pushed aside as if it's nothing. This is destroying me. And they just sort of didn't know what to do with me and were willing to just send me away. So I asked for a consult with the rheumatology nurse, who is a rheumatoid arthritis patient and a radiologist. Sorry, I'm ever so bunged up for some reason. I feel really congested. But this nurse, radiologist, rheumatoid specialist, who has rheumatoid arthritis herself, I left the hospital. I basically took my cannula out and said I'm going, and I'd been crying for hours, and I said I want to speak to Donna now, and that's all. The only person I want to speak to is Donna at the moment, because I wasn't being listened to or respected. I would not have gone to an A&E department. I would not have took myself to a hospital if I wasn't seriously concerned that it was life-threatening in some way or life-limiting in some way. I've never been for pain, and I've been in some severe amounts of pain with rheumatoid arthritis. I've never been to the hospital about it. I only go when I can't breathe, when I'm really like dying. So I really wish that when I do go and I do say, like, this is that bad, I really do wish they'd listen to me, because I just wouldn't go otherwise, you know. Anyway, so every movement makes me feel sick at the moment. I feel really awful, really struggling. So anyway, Tuesday morning, Donna phones me at home, and I was very glad to hear from her. And she said, Cassandra, why on earth did they release you? And I said, well, I kind of felt like that myself. Like, what was going on was that I was being told that I've got to just go home and deal with this, because it's just part of the RA and it's not going to go away, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's nothing to worry about, but it's nothing. That's a load of hogwash, you know what I mean? The levels of pain, I'm talking like 9 hitting a 10 when that was bursting through my brain like that, along with all the other pains in every other part of my body. I was in raging pain. I mean, to the point where I could seriously have took the easy option out at that point. It's just ridiculous that they ignore that in a patient. If a patient is saying it is that bad, it is that bad. Excuse my French, but it is that bad. Please listen to us, especially us who are living with this on a day-to-day basis, because there's just nothing worse than having to fight to prove how ill you are when you're already so suffering, and it's obvious how much I'm suffering. You can see how much pain I'm in. My disability is very far from invisible. Anyway, Donna said, why did they release you? They should have x-rayed me in the supine and the flexion positions, or MRI'd me, or even CAT scan, even an ultrasound would have shown more, or given more information about what was going on with me. Obviously it was severe. Donna then goes on to tell me that she's had this issue herself, that she's understood my description of my symptoms to be exactly what she had experienced herself. Every word is hurting me at the moment, I'm sorry. Now, she's asked me to wear this collar, which I've got a fancy sock around because it was irritating my skin on my neck. So I put a sock around it, but obviously it's a support collar, a brace, neck brace, until we can get an urgent MRI of my neck and see what's going on in there. And she believes that I've likely got spinal instability in my cervical spine, and possible spinal cord impingement, where it's being pinched in between the parts of my spine where it's swollen and it's got extra scar tissue and extra bone tissue and all that sort of thing. It's probably trapping my spinal column cord a bit, because I'm getting a lot of visual disturbances like black holes and golden glowing lights in front of my eyes and stuff that I know aren't there. Obviously I'm not on acid or anything, but it is quite disturbing. Also getting a lot of the nausea. My neck is swollen. I've got pictures. I will insert some pictures of my neck, how it's swelling up and that. It's pretty grotesque. It's bulging all over the place. And you could actually feel bits that are like, ugh, and to touch it is just awful. Absolutely awful. I mean, I'm like this. Don't. So she said that it's likely to be that if that is the case, that I'll have to have surgery. She's had the surgery. She understands what it is. It's quite a big risk surgery, but it isn't a vital surgery if I have got that issue going on. Which, the fact that I take the collar off and it hurts more would suggest that it is what she's saying it is, because I really do feel like I've got to hold my head up. My hair's too heavy for my head. I feel like completely like a tension in my head and neck area. I've also had like that would be like a spinal fusion and a metal plating, which I've also got the concerns that they never wanted to operate on me before, because they said I wasn't healthy enough to be operated on. I didn't really do well in my last operation that was supposed to be a routine operation with the gallbladder surgery. They didn't want to do the second carpal tunnel surgery because they said I wasn't well enough to undergo surgery, but she said it was a necessary surgery regardless. So I assume that with my lungs being the way they are, that they're going to go in prepared for that, maybe pre-ventilate me. I don't know what will happen. We'll have to wait and see, and I will update as we go along. Obviously things are getting a little bit more crazy around here, as if they weren't already crazy enough. Love you, RA. Thank you so much for being a part of my life. Apparently 10% of deaths in RA actually are from spinal cord compression. I didn't know it was anywhere near as much as that until I've started looking into it just today. I haven't really looked into it as much as I should. So I'll look into all that a bit more. I am very worried about it, I can't lie. I'm in a lot of pain. At the same time, I'm very grateful that Donna's stepped up and got on my case for me, helping me and listening to me, because I honestly think that my life's at risk, and they just sort of were brushing me off, and I was like, at some point or another my head's going to either explode or something bad's going to happen. I could really feel it. It was like so much pressure in my spine, like all the time. If I stand up, it's like, oh my god, I've got to get back down and rest again. And that's not a nice place to be in at all. Anyone that has got any cervical spine or any spinal issues related to RA, I'd love it if you could like drop down in the comments below and let me know you're there, give me some advice. I don't know, but I'd love to hear from anyone that's undergoing the same sort of issues. Anyway, then I've got also the GP. I had a consult with the GP about my high blood pressure. My blood pressure's been shooting up and down. It's going quite high and then coming back down to normal. It's gone quite high quite a few times. It continued to spike up quite massively while I was in hospital overnight, and my oxygen levels were quite low, and my pulse was tachycardic. So the GP asked me to buy a BP monitor, the blood pressure monitor and monitor my blood pressure 4 times a day at set times for a week, and then take the results to him to discuss and see whether or not we need to medicate. He said it could be, because it sounds like it's not actually high blood pressure, that because it's coming back down to a normal rate, it could be that I'm in that much pain that it's spiking my blood pressure at those points, which would make sense because it really feels like it. My mum's concern was that I was getting spiking blood pressure and these headaches, and she's had blood clots obviously when I was born. So that was why she made me go to the hospital on the Sunday, because she was thinking blood clots. They were thinking meningitis, and I was sort of like, I know it's the RA, but I'm scared of the amount of damage the RA has done because it's been left unattended to. Anyway, I've not heard back on the sleep study, so I don't know anything about that. I assume no news is good news or something, I don't know, but that's a bit weird that I haven't heard back, because I know that my oxygen levels were dropping throughout the night. Maybe they have a certain standard, you have to be like suffering quite enough. I don't know. I might phone up the hospital and check about that, I really should. I had the young carers assessment in today to assess my younger 2 children, to try and get, because I need them to have some support, especially if I'm going to have surgery or if anything else goes wrong. They need to be supported through this, and at the moment they've not been taking part and interacting with young carers, and like, you know, they either want to be here with me or they'd rather just sit in their room and play on their computers, or, you know, Harvey gets detention sometimes because he's been playing up at school a bit, so he ends up missing out on young carers. Grace will only go if there's certain people that are going too, so they won't really participating in young carers, and I really think it's going to be much more needed by them in the coming months or years. So that's a positive. At least we're getting a start. They're going to take them out for a one-to-one session as well, which I think might benefit my children because they're quite quiet and shy. They're quite hard to get to talk in these sort of meeting situations. I'm not sure the kids understand the dangers or how things will change if I have surgery. I'm a bit worried about all of it, but I am still smiling. I'm in a lot of pain. I mean, every movement I keep going to shake my head or nod my head, and I'm like either feeling sick as a dog or a sharp shooting pain coming through my head above my eye. I'm really feeling rotten. I'm not getting anything done, so I'm bored, witless. I'm gonna do a little project. Oh, see, I can't even move myself properly, so I'm really struggling. I'm in my wheelchair and I am struggling. But I thought, because I'm so bored and I want to do something, but I've got to sit still. I can't. She wants me to try not to overexert myself in any way. But I've got these. Remember these little sugar skulls or candy skulls, whatever you want to call them, that I was doing, and I'm going to do them on top of little cupcakes. But I want to paint the little details in with a bit of extra colour while I'm sitting about. So I might do some of that. I might film a little bit of it and show you what I'm doing with it. And then I'll film obviously when I make the actual soap, because I was trying to work out what I was going to do with them. But I love them. But I'm just, I did find the other day, I found a journal from when I started my Embro and Tanacept injections, and I started getting some improvement. So I'm going to do a separate video about that to describe how my life changed for the better and how it then declined and how much different I am now to then, so we know what's like me when I'm good and me when I'm not so good. I wasn't always like this. I don't want to be like this. If I could do things like exercising and that, I would do. When I was able to, I did. So I'm trying my best, but at the moment I've got to protect this neck. So I'll speak to you all soon, hopefully. Alright guys, much love. Breathe easy folks.